Oh, nice, I got a new gun. Where's that last enemy at? I'm pretty sure there was another enemy.
Die!
Did I just hear something?
I said die!
What the heck is going on with Gearbox lately? Borderlands 3 was meh at best. Sure, the gunplay was fine, but that's to be expected given its genre. Then you have that god-awful Borderlands movie with a horrible story. Yes, I suffered through it and watched it. Gearbox has been building this story up since the first game. And honestly, after playing Borderlands 4, I don't know what they're trying to do anymore. The story is a mixture of warm dog water mixed with boiled hot dogs. Now, before I get too deep into this review, I do want to say, like the title says, this is a spoiler-free review. I will talk about the beginning of the story and the end, but nothing that will spoil, just a brief explanation of it. Also, I want to make this perfectly clear the same way I did in my KCD2 review. I am brutally honest when I review games because I know how good they can be, and you and I spent $60, $70, $80, potentially $130, thanks for that, Gearbox, and we deserve something good. Anywho, here is a breakdown of how I personally do my rankings thanks to the help of MS Paint. Now, before you hop into the comments dogging my fabulous piece of artwork, I challenge you to do what I did, and you will see how hard it is. I have carpal tunnel, aggressive carpal tunnel. It's in my dreams, telling me, wake your ass up, bitch. We have ointment to apply. So here you see 1s and 2s. This is your garbage tier. These games are liquid doo-doo. 3s and 4s, bad tier. Someone out there will at least enjoy it, and it has the potential to go to average tier, something like Fallout 76 did. Average tier, 5 and 6s, your it was okay games. Good tier, your 7s and 8s. These are your all-around games. Not great, but you get what you paid for, and you might do another playthrough. Something like Black Myth Wukong comes to mind, or Ghost of Tsushima, you know, things like that. Then there is Great Tier, a game that you can play multiple times, buy at full price, etc., with a few minor grievances that stick out holding it back. GTA San Andreas is a perfect example of this. The story is great, the characters are great, the soundtrack is great. However, we all know the zero missions and the RC playing car, Berkeley, all this stuff. I don't like you, Berkeley. It's awful. It really holds that game back. Finally, we have Once in a Life tier. These are the games that you had no problem accepting their flaws because the story is phenomenal and or life-changing. The world building is exquisite, lovable characters, the type of game that has you saying, well, just beat the game, time to do another playthrough. Baldur's Gate 3, KCD 2, the most recent one, Expedition 33, you know, things like that is what comes to mind. With that out of the way, let's get into this Borderlands 4 review, figure out what went wrong, and why Randy Pitchford sucks ass. What is wrong with all of you? Are you stupid? Have you tried coding your own engine? I have no clue what Randy's problem is, but someone on the PR team needs to take his phone away. Such a disrespectful way of deflecting responsibility for your game. He's out here calling people dumb as if modders don't already have multiple mods to help the performance issues plaguing the game. Let's not forget, real fans will find a way in regards to the unknown price at the time. In my opinion, yes, people will pay what they want for whatever their hobby is. I can't even begin to tell you how much money I've given Bungie since Destiny released in 2014. The problem, Randy, you can't seem to understand is Borderlands 3 was mostly terrible. And like I said before, the movie was hot garbage. So why would I or anyone else want to take a chance on the new $80 price for games when we know the track record? If Larian, for whatever reason, had a game priced at $80, I know I would have no problem buying it. Divinity 2 was good, and Baldur's Gate 3 is a once-in-a-lifetime game. Given Larian's track record, and other game developers who have constantly pushed out good games, we know their track record, we know what to expect. To say something so ignorant to a fan who is still trying to be in your corner and supporting you is unacceptable, and you should honestly be embarrassed for yourself. There is a stupid argument point that some people say, "Oh, works for my PC." I can't stand hearing that. Now, I can understand some of the argument point because according to Steam's GPU chart, there are quite a few people still using outdated GPUs. So in that sense, yes, if you're using, a 1080, a 1060, a 2060, 1650, 60, whatever it is, you're gonna have a bad time. But what I will say is here are my specs, and I think a lot of people would agree with me that I have a powerful PC. Yet here I am saying I had major stutters all the time to the point it would go by a frame-by-frame process. I had micro stutters all the time. I had desync constantly, solo and multiplayer, to the point I had to restart the game multiple times and on and off infinite loading screens strictly related to crossplay, all of which would often lead to multiple crashes, even on startup. Before you judge my cluttered desktop, just know I have it clean now, everything looks fine in pristine orders, and those children games are for my niece and nephews. You will never, ever catch me playing Barbie, ever, certainly not, and definitely not getting my nails painted by my niece ever. My friend was playing on Series X, and he crashed every 2 hours or so. Not a game crash that forces you back to the dashboard. Nope, it fully turned off his console multiple times. Gotta love these unoptimized games that also have a memory leak. Simply go ahead and restart your game, losing all progress. Thanks for the money though. Enjoy the beta while we take a year to fix things. Seriously, that is so many games nowadays. It is just getting to the point I don't even want to buy AAA games anymore. I just strictly want to buy indie games or games that are maybe day one on Game Pass because chances are they'll be shit anyways. As for bugs, I experienced quite a few. Almost all the time my inventory would disappear. I didn't permanently lose the items, they were just off chilling somewhere in the void and coming back when they're ready. The grapple hook mechanic at some point would just completely stop working for me, which is very bad because that is a major part of traversal in the game. There was also a side quest that simply wouldn't work for me. I reset the area a few times, I fully quit the game, and tried to start it with both of us being there, but nope, no side quest for you. And my R3 button to mark trash barely works. Not only that, I had skins disappear from all characters, just completely disappear. Never was able to use it again. Full price game, by the way. The side quest thing really pissed me off because honestly, most of the side quests that I did play were either just okay or there were actually quite a few I really enjoyed. Which kudos to Gearbox because I honestly cannot tell you a single side quest from Borderlands 3. The one that I was trying to complete was a follow-up to a mystery-like quest, and it's really defeating to get invested in something only not to be able to complete it. There was another really fun quest we did, and I know at the beginning of the video I said it was a spoiler-free, so skip to this part if you don't want to hear this side quest. It's really not super spoiling, but I just don't want to spoil anything at all. You got it? You good? All right. So there's this crazy dude, Mort, who is obsessed with threshers and watching them mate. You spend your time gathering items and whatnot to set the mood, tame a thresher, and then they get it on. The whole quest will have you laughing and finally sees Borderlands getting back to the earlier game style of humor. Speaking of humor, the gun names in this game are hilarious. I found a pistol called Tempting Kitty Topper, a shotgun called Slutty Tempting Crank, and a not-so-good legendary pistol called Noisy Cricket, which is a reference to Men in Black. I give credit to Gearbox for listening to the community about the awful cringe humor from the previous game. Jokes in this one are good, dry, dirty, etc. Good job. Another good job is the gunplay. Something about Borderlands 4 gunplay is so satisfying and very rewarding. The gun sounds are really nice. My friend actually found a gun and every time he reloaded it, it was Moxie saying something dirty to him, which other people can hear, not just the one holding it. Kill sounds are enjoyable, and dare I say, stemming my ADHD real good. You know I need my dopamine. There is a new damage type called Ordnance Damage. It takes the spot of rocket launchers, Gatling guns, grenades, things like that. There are even cool throwing knives. The new gun manufacturers are okay, I guess. Ripper weapons suck though. I don't like the charge mechanics. Some guns are okay because you charge it and it continuously fires until the mag is empty, but the others, and the ones that I seem to mostly always find, are charged burst fire, and that to me just really throws off my gameplay because I'm trying to move quick and then I gotta burst, let go, burst, let go. I don't know, maybe it's just a skill issue for me. What they all do have in common though is the terrible optics. Too zoomed in, or a reticle that is blocking half the enemy. There are numerous builds that all 4 characters have, and yes, there are builds that will shine above others, but I would say you can probably make 4 different builds for each character. Of course, that's just for now until we get DLCs. Now, speaking of builds, about to go on a rant here. Do you guys want to know what is the best, ultimate, one-shot anything I am a god holy shit build? Watch as I decimate everything, even though in the video you clearly see me hit the same enemy multiple times. Oh my god, don't listen to anyone else. This is actually the best build in the game. No, mine is. You're wrong. Blah. I seriously loathe that shit that is non-stop spammed on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Look, I get we need to get views, but come on, this is ridiculous. What's even crazier is a creator will make a build video and then a week later make the exact same build video saying, no, this is actually an updated new best build. Believe me, I'm seriously, you guys. Meanwhile, they changed 3 skill points and found a better piece of gear. I remember when Oblivion Remastered came out and I was doom scrolling and I came across a video of a guy saying, become OP at level 1, oh my god. In the video, he says, go to this location, there's a group of NPCs here, they have glass armor, glass weapons, yada yada yada. Then when you get to the group of NPCs, you're supposed to kill them all because they're not that important. Point number 1, that glass armor and weapons are de-leveled because you're level 1. Point number 2, that group is important because they are part of a quest. Congratulations, you're an idiot, all just for views. The same with Umbra. Do you guys want to get this broken sword and OP armor? Go kill Umbra, or bait her into the guards so they can do it. Guess what? That OP armor is, you guessed it, de-leveled. That OP sword has a very high upkeep cost that you need to fill with soul gems, and now new players are going to wonder why they're playing this game so easily with no challenge. Sorry for that rant, but I just don't want people to ruin their playthrough because they feel the need that if they don't have this very specific OP build, this piece of gear, whatever, they're not gonna have fun. Don't let any creator, influencer, whatever people are calling themselves, tell you how to think and play. Find what works for you, and above all else, have fun. I'm not saying don't go watch the OP build videos, but at least just wait until you've hit a wall if it comes to that. Maybe watch the video and combine their build with yours and stick with the stuff that you like to use. Moving on to the open world part of the game. I'm not gonna lie, I liked it at first because Borderlands has never done anything like this before, so I sincerely respect Gearbox for trying something new. Unfortunately, it seems they went the Ubisoft direction and overly filled the world. Now, I do enjoy some of the activities like the propaganda broadcasts you hack to shut them down, all while fighting waves of enemies trying to kill you. I like the random bubble domes that have a boss or multiple bosses in them. Just don't accidentally step out of the bubble like I did a few times, or everything will despawn. More activities open up once you've completed the main story. Some are fun, some are not. The problem is the map is way too flooded with many POIs that mostly amount to nothing. Too many echo logs to find, which, by the way, Not all of them are shown. You don't even know how to get the specific ones. So you have to do this, and then you got to go over here to do this activity, and then you got to secretly do this, and it's hidden here. I don't like when I have to find guides on every single thing to figure out what I need to collect so I can 100% something. But the worst thing of all is so many safe houses. This reminded me of Far Cry and how much I hated grinding all the safe house locations, i.e. fast travel points. I know what some of you may be thinking. Why am I complaining about things to do in the game? And to that I say, look at the past Assassin's Creed games over the years. They are a perfect example of quantity over quality. There's way too many fast travel points in there, way too many side things to do that mostly don't even make any sense at all. It is filled to the brim with a whole lot of nothing. Don't get me wrong, I really like the idea that Gearbox was going with their open world. I just think it should have been toned 25, maybe 30% down. I think that would have been the sweet spot. The map is huge, so I don't think it would be hurting for activities and whatnot to do. Keep in mind, that's not factoring in all the side quests on the map. Another thing I did not like about it is map pinging. You could ping something next to you, but because the map is so large and so many unnecessary twists and turns, you now have to loop around so much crap just to get there. Everything is blue or bluish on the compass. That one's a minor complaint, but still kind of annoying. This aspect of the game makes it feel less of a Borderlands game and more like a Ubisoft game. Now, there are some good things that come from the map being so big. One of those is multiple vehicles to get you around the world. I still haven't unlocked them all yet. There are so many options, and when you complete side quests or activities, you are given loot boxes that may give you an upgrade or a skin for one of them. Multiple options for hover drives, etc. Do you want to go fast with the trade-off being low handling? Do you want max handling, low speed, or a mix of both? Best thing about the vehicles is you can now spawn them instantly with the press of a button. No more catch-a-ride stations. That is a great quality of life feature. I'm going to talk briefly about the story, but don't worry, no spoilers. I just need to get my point across. When I first started making this video, I was actually going to cover the story, but as I began jotting down notes, I realized I do not remember the story at all. All I really remember is the beginning and the end, with a couple of points that stood out, with very forgettable characters, except for maybe like 2 or 3. I want to say this story is better than Borderlands 3, but where's the bar for that at? Borderlands 3 story, as we all already know, was not exactly the best, so it doesn't take much to improve on it. Some people don't play Borderlands for the story, and that's fine, I'm not against that, but I do. Gearbox has been creating this world since the first game. Every game has been related to each other. I'm invested, and it's now to the point I don't know what they're trying to do anymore. I'm afraid they are going the movie route. I won't mention that, and I will say if they are going that route, I will absolutely not be playing the next game. If anyone is interested in having a conversation about the story, I would really like to hear what you speculate is going to happen next. Ultimate Vault Hunter is different this time around. You do these wildcard missions to go up in rank. It's just missions from the story you've already done, now with a harder difficulty and modifiers like Mayhem from the last game. Honestly, just let us put it on Ultimate and go from there. By that time, you will already have a build ready for the first tier. No need to do these time-wasting missions again. I went through the game as Amon, someone who is apparently considered the worst Vault Hunter in the game. I don't know about that, because what entails the worst? If I don't have a build that one-shots everything, do I suck? Is that the worst? Now, dying all the time, doing no damage, yeah, you know, you suck. But that is probably a build that lacks synergy. I can agree that Amon is probably the hardest Vault Hunter in the beginning of the game. He comes off like a tank. Well, he was really marketed as a tank. A tank will never have crazy high DPS. That's called balance. He has a skill that heals his allies over time while taunting the enemies, while holding a shield that gives him very high resistances. I like that Amon was not created to be some big dumb guy like a lot of games and other medias tend to do with characters like this. However, Buddy is definitely suffering in silence though. He has a line of dialogue that plays when you drive off of something high. For a brief moment, I can forget about all those that have died, something like that. Feels bad, man. Amon is built around cryo, fire, and melee damage. You absolutely do not need to make a melee build, but if you wanted to, it's there. He can also have a cool minion build with his floating forge axes. I played with Harlow for a bit as well. She is based around radiation and cryo damage. Unfortunately not into the 30s with her, but I did find that Harlow plays pretty well. I used her red tree and the ultimate felt pretty good. You will have problems when you come across someone who is immune or resistant to cryo or radiation or God forbid heals from it. A problem I had with her was her skill hitting the ground or a tree at the wrong angle. It's an AoE explosion and God forbid if you clip the ground the wrong way, you will literally do no damage. As for the trees, sometimes I would hit one and enemies would still take damage, other times I hit the tree and literally nothing happened. I did not play as Rafa, the character based on shock and corrosion, but my buddy did, and he said he absolutely hates Rafa's voice, all he can hear is Puss in Boots. He did try a melee build with Rafa's blades, a stun gun build as he calls it, and the red tree turret build. The first two builds are viable, but the turret build is by far the best, shreds everything, and most of the time you don't even need to shoot anything. The turrets will have already killed everything by the time you try to do it. He also did not have the best gear equipped at the time, so I'm assuming that build can just get absolutely bonkers. The last person I played with was Vex for a little bit. Trouble, her pet, is cool and all, and I like the mechanic of switching between weapon elements to change Trouble's damage type. Now, I do think Trouble can be good, but the problem is poor AI package from developers. Black's pets had a similar problem. You think they would have learned by now, but nope. Give us money, then we'll fix it later. No doubt that Trouble will get buffed and an AI tweak, so give it some time and that build will really shine. Her gun minions were great, squishy, but great. I didn't play them for long because I wanted to focus on Amon, just wanted to see how they felt because at the time, I was under the impression you could skip the story after you beat it once. Now yes, that part is true, but it has to be a brand new character. And here is the huge problem with that. A level 30 character has nothing on the map unlocked, no good guns or even okay guns, which doesn't bother me too much because at the time you will have golden keys to open up the chest. My thing is, why would I want to go through literally every single thing again on the map, unlocking everything, unlocking the fast travel points, yada yada yada, all that crap. We just talked about how terrible it was. I really do not and will not go through that again. Moreover, none of your SDUs carry over, and I will say, yeah, that was the same for the older games like Borderlands 2 when you had to start a new character, you had to buy all the upgrades with Iridium again. But the problem is, you get your SDU points from unlocking safe houses, activities, some side quests, you know, all that stuff, right? So on a brand new character, once again, you gotta go through all that over and over and over again. And if you're like me, who likes to play with all 4 Vault Hunters, you have to do that for literally every single one. You know, that reminds me of that South Park episode when they finally leveled up everything, got everything done. Yeah, they killed the guy, whatever. But the biggest thing is like, oh, what do you mean? Now we can play the game. That's how I will feel after having to unlock everything on other characters just to get some SDU upgrades. Absolute terrible game design. Don't know what you were thinking behind that. And if I ever play Borderlands 4 again, I will most likely be using a mod that unlocks everything on the map. Now, why might I be saying if I ever play the game again? Well, at the time of making this video, there was a 12.4 gigabyte patch for the game, supposedly fixing crashing, stuttering, all the problems, right? Wrong! After I downloaded that patch, I ran the game and I already knew something was off. Everything, once again, slowed down to a frame-by-frame lag. The game turned itself off, then back on, lagged some more, and froze literally my entire PC. I couldn't close the game or even bring up my task manager to force it to close. I had to unplug my PC, and guess what? When I turned it back on, my PC would not boot. I kid you not, I spent 3 hours troubleshooting parts and whatnot. Surely it couldn't have been the game. However, when I finally got my computer back on, I played multiple games with no problems, and I even went as far as to install 2K to 4K texture mods for KCD2, which is already a very graphically intense game, but very well optimized, I should say. And I also set everything to ultra, and not a single moment did I have lag, desync, big or micro stutters. I can conclude that the very poor optimization of Borderlands 4 has put some kind of hex on my PC is what I'm thinking. Some return the slab type shit. I took a shot to get a refund from Steam, but of course was denied, so yeah. Fuck you, Randy. Like all my videos, I tried to end on a positive note. So what I will say is that when Borderlands 4 works, it's a fun game. I like the Vault Hunters, I like the builds, gunplay, and the other things I mentioned. The problem is, I have to say when it works. I want this to be a good game because I like the series, but this just isn't it. Too many bugs, too many performance problems, quests not working, having PC and consoles shut down because of it, memory leaks for consoles, the list goes on. I want to leave off saying something better, more positive, but I just can't. This is what AAA titles are becoming. Release a game that needed more work, people like Randy Bitchford getting all in their feelings because the people who gave up their hard-earned money are now playing something that half-ass works. In the end, they do not care because they, and more importantly, their shareholders already got your money. That's what it's all about. We'll fix it in a year or let modders do it mentality. 5.5 is the verdict. Do better next time. Thanks for sticking through the video. We're almost at 100 subscribers. Pretty exciting times. Just wait till we get to 100,000. Dare I say more? Then we'll hopefully have a community where we can all share our passionate discussions about, instead of just me yapping all the time, more yappers. Did I just make that sound like a cult? Anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. He can also have a cool minion build with his floating forge axe. Floating forge axes. Floating forge axes. Floating forge. What? Then, once you're there, you are to kill all. Really? Thanks. Oh. Oh, my controller. My God. Don't listen to anyone else. This is actually the best build in the game. No, mine is. You're wrong. I can't take myself serious. Oh my gosh, dude.